to the Golden Feather. Grab a pint, a plate, and pick your seats. Your hosts Vertek and Chibi are back from the latest adventure.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Golden Feather. So today is episode 110. Nice fun round number. It is titled To Arkfinity and Beyond. Today being the 4th of February 2022, by the way. But we have our guest here, Arky, also known as Arkyfinity on Twitter, thus the name of the show today. So how are you today, sir?
I'm good. Though hence the time zone. It's night for me, so yeah, this is good. But who needs sleep,
here
right?
Too, but I think it's like so much later for you, right?
It just ticked over 1 a.m., right? So.
Ooh, you're a trooper.
Mm-hmm.
We really appreciate you taking the time out of your late evening, early morning to be with us.
Yeah. Even though sleep schedules may or may not be quite as aligned as they used to be once upon a time, it's still nice when you're able to stay up late and pop onto our show. So we feel honored. Thank you.
Yeah,
No worries.
And the person over to this other side of me over here, as
Hello.
always, is the lovely Chibi the Bree. How are you today, Chibi?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. Had a kind of long day at work, and I'm super excited to talk about Ashes tonight instead of work. So, yay.
It's usually a good time. Talk about stuff other than the workplace.
Yeah. Pretty much. Lots of Ashes stuff to talk about. Very excited.
Yes, indeed. So, Sir Arky, you are, as I understand, fairly new to the Ashes scene. Am I correct?
Yeah, you could say that. As in, I have not created a single second of content for the game yet. I plan to, though. However, I don't really have access to the game until the betas land. So I'm sitting here, like, looking at my watch, thinking, when is the next alpha actually landing? Because then the next one is the beta, right?
Story.
Yeah, in theory.
Yeah, Ashes 2 and then beta. Yeah.
Alpha 2, Ashes 2.
Alpha 2. Words.
Ashes
words
2, the
mean
sequel.
nothing. They're just made up letters.
Arky, did you apply for the content creator program?
I did, but I'm as I understand, it's like in what do you call it? It's in sleep mode, right? Until they hired someone to actually take care of it, right?
Yeah, I believe so. But they have at least 2 different things there. So one being the creator helper, essentially, to help people make better content. And like, I believe they had put something about supplying microphones and headphones and stuff like that. And then the other one being, I guess, their official like content creator stuff. But what kind of content do you plan on making when you do get around to it?
Well, since right now I'm an avid Guild Wars 2 player, and what I try to display in that game is the competitive scene. So that would be a game mode called Worry World, which was basically Ashes of Creation, like big field PvP, basically. Open world PvP, just more structured, and then they also have a structured PvP mode, which is more like arenas, 5v5. That is what ticks my fancy, so to speak. I really like, how to say this without sounding like a douche. I feed off the salt of the tears from the players I like to beat, right?
Mm-hmm.
I really like PvP. Yeah. I like the PvP scene. I hope to also be into the PvP part of Ashes as well. But generally, the whole open world giant PvP stuff is really something that sparked my interest at first. So that's what I'll be focusing on, mainly like big fights, PvP stuff like that.
That's okay. Z
so
says
you'll be doing-
she also likes feasting off of the tears of her enemies, so it's fine.
It's true. And then she pretends that she's not evil and insanely power hungry and bloodthirsty. Acts like the super sweet lady next door with kind of a potty mouth, but then just completely eats people alive in PvP.
Yeah.
And then screams yes when people die, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. She just doesn't queue up the mic hot when she does that.
Yeah. By the way, welcome in Gummy Song. First time chatter. Happy to have you here. Feel free to give us your opinions and thoughts. That's what we're here for. We're a community-based podcast, and we like to talk about the things that the community is talking about, including, well, I guess for me in Zoom, he's above me, but all the way over there, past the Vertec, new potential content creators. So, yeah. Very excited to see what Alpha 2 has in store because they just released the new race views. And I sent Vertec a picture that they had posted of like a nice high quality race picture. But Arky, given the races that we just saw, which one do you think you'll be playing with first and why?
Oh, I'm a human female meta, so to speak.
Okay.
It depends on. I will try every race, and then it depends on how they move, how it looks, like the animation that they have, and then what kind of suits my playstyle more. In Guild Wars 2, for example, human females are more elegant to look like in their animations, so that's why they are more like meta. Maybe also some other features. I don't know.
That's fair.
I don't really care about those features because I only see the back of my character all the time. So
that's fair.
All
right. Vertec, you're playing Guild Wars 2 a lot. What character race are you playing?
I'm honestly, I have two different characters. One's a Norn, basically large humans, Viking themed, very, very Viking themed.
Okay.
And a human, because why not a human? Because I didn't know anything about the game when I started playing, and I had no idea what the races would do or whatever, and hey.
Yeah, and this is where the bonus info is. There's no difference between races, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's really no bonus to it except for if you really like the story of one race over another.
The only other thing is it does affect your in-game play a little bit in terms of how the armor looks on you. And if there's enough of your race in a node, that node will take on the primary racial effects. So more humans, it's more human-looking town. More elves, it's a more elven-looking town. So I think that's going to be super really awesome to watch.
There we go. Go ahead and put that picture up of all the
Perfect.
different races.
Yeah, you guys have to look at these. This is so nice quality. The Beck have pretty eyes. Yeah, I think so. So human, you said female, human, female. Are you excited to try out the sliders then?
Sure. I like to customize my characters like in great detail, but sometimes it also doesn't matter, right? It depends on what kind of mood you're in, I guess. But yeah, I'll definitely check out the sliders. That's one of the first things you really pop into, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm going to be, because usually if I pick up a new game that's already launched, I'm all about just getting in the game and playing. I really like to spend a lot of time on the character, but I usually end up doing that months down the road after I've gotten into the game and gotten all the excitement, the initial excitement out, and then I go through and customize and do the character appearance change stuff so I can actually apply it. And that's when I do my character creation stuff. But hey, since we're going to have access to a character creator before the game launches, I'm going to design up all of them and have them sitting there ready and waiting.
Yeah, I'm really excited because the sliders are meant to kind of allow you to make whatever kind of character you want. It's not your typical, like, here's your range kind of thing. It's, you could have, if you want, a really chubby Vec or a really skinny dwarf. So it adds more of a difference to it, I guess, or a really, really short elf, which is probably what I'm gonna do. Really short elf, just because I'm short and I
Tall
like
dwarf.
elves.
I don't know.
A tall dwarf, that would be perfect. I want to see it. Somebody
There
out
you go.
there, you match me. I'll do a short elf. You do a tall dwarf. Let's see who's taller.
But yeah, Z, potty mouth, definitely potty mouth. We've had you on this show before, ma'am. We have recordings of this.
Is she
This
defending
is it.
herself? Also, welcome in, Gummy.
You said potty mouth ? But also, yeah, Gummy Slung combat was indeed clunky in the alphas and the pre-alphas and all that, to a point. It's not as perfectly polished as a lot of other games. The reason for that is because they haven't gotten into polishing the combat.
Yeah.
Where honestly, they haven't really released much of the actual full mechanics of the combat yet even, so. So you know, that's definitely a work in progress.
And also, they just swapped to UE5, so that's probably going to do some adjustment to the combat as well. There's a whole new system there.
Yes.
So I'm very excited to see how fluid that can be once they get all of those things in place. But
And
I don't
also,
know.
like Creed Lore says, Alpha 2 is going to have the improved combat because they're going to have it a little bit more towards the end goal. There's going to be
I
more
agree.
classes, secondary power sets, class arcs, and new music
Ooh.
done by Baron McCreary. I can't wait for that, to be honest.
me either. I love a good audio stuff. So, okay. What is one thing you look for in a game, Marky? Like, what makes or breaks a game for you?
Are we talking all games?
How about
Or are we
MMOs
talking
to
like-
make it like
Say
leveled out
MMOs,
specifically?
okay.
MMOs, yeah.
MMOs, just to keep it short. For me, it's the combat system. I recently took a tour down the Aeon Road again because they released the Aeon Classic version fairly recently. I have very, very fond memories of Aeon. I have probably spent 3 years in there, maybe. Not in a not in total, right? Not in like one succession, but I recently returned to that game just to see. Hey, it's the classic version. Hey, do we also still get Chinese dialogues and stuff? Because I remember doing that. Some of the dialogues was still not in. They were not translated yet, so that was fun. But no, everything was still as it was. But I now have a lot more games to compare it to. So the combat feels a little bit more like static towards like compared to, for example, Guild Wars 2, where you can cast while you run. In Aeon, you're more like some of the skill casting you're literally bound, like in World of Warcraft, for example.
Yeah.
So for me, the combat system is like a big sales pitch for me. And from what I've seen, especially what Steven has told us, what the plans is about the combat system, I'm very, very optimistic. Especially for the hybrid you mentioned, where you can like go between tap targeting and action cam and some way in between. That sounds like it, like something that is either bound to fail or be the next big thing. I don't know. It sounds like an awesome thing or something that will but just like either be scrapped or be its feature, I guess.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, combat seems to be a big selling feature for a lot of people, honestly.
Yeah.
Even or something that can turn them completely off a game. They like everything about it, but the combat just feels terrible, so they, stray away from the game because the combat part is one of the more interactive parts of the game. No matter even if it is a role-playing game, you got to go slay stuff to survive and progress. So if that doesn't feel good, it's time to move on.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, from what I've seen, at least when Steven has shown us the updates for the combat system has been like my comparison is also my 2 to 3 years in World of Warcraft, where it feels like you're hitting into the air with a balloon, so to speak. But in I can only compare it to Guild Wars 2 because that's the combat system I really love at the moment. Is there's like more oomph to it, and you feel like you're hitting something when you're actually throwing a punch.
It feels impactful.
And from what I've seen, what I've seen in Ashes is actually that's going to be the thing here as well. And I think they're going to put a lot more love in it from what I've seen. So
Yeah, just saying. I play a small little necro with a giant greatsword. So yeah, definitely, I can feel the impact when I swing that big old thing. See this tiny little figure trying to swing this sword like bigger than she is.
3 times her size.
Things just crunch. It's amazing.
Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky says, "Isn't Guild Wars 2 in between?" I don't play Guild Wars 2, so I don't know.
I'm guessing in between tab and action. Yeah, definitely.
You can use both in Guild Wars 2, but I think tab targeting is the default, right? But yeah, I'm not a big fan of action cam, and I figured that out when I played the alphas of New World, and everything was like, I think it's still action cam locked, and I was like, okay, this feels very clunky. But some are into that. Some like the action cam action.
Yeah, I think it depends on the game, really. Like when games label something action cam, I think they always do it very oddly. But if it's just the default camera and that's just what it is and it's action combat, to me it always feels all right. It's just, to me, when companies seem to go out of their way to call something an action cam or to give it 2 different modes like the default and action cam view, the action cam view always feels awkward to me.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, so I have a general question that I just kind of got inspired while I was looking through different topics to talk about today. Do you like the fact that leveling characters and nodes will take longer the higher level the item is? So when you first begin playing your game, your character will level up pretty quickly, but the node will level up probably within an hour or a little less for the first level, and then the second level is going to take a little longer. Level 3 is going to be even longer till at one point there ends up being like a month of playing with everybody playing before the node levels up again. How does that make you feel?
I like when games are hard. And that sounds strange, right? For someone who plays Guild Wars 2, and which is basically the most casual friendly game in the world, probably. But I like it when you have to work a little bit for your things. So for me, that's a good thing.
Okay.
Like you have to keep up with things to actually keep it up, right? You don't need to put more work into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I've always been okay with the higher level it gets up to, the longer it takes to level things. So that part's never really bothered me. It's always kind of made sense. Like once you, just in life, like there's some things when I try and teach people how to do the DJ thing. It's like you can learn everything you need to know about DJing in about 10 minutes. It's going to take you a lifetime to get really, really good at it. And you're never going to master it. You're never going to be an actual like master. Like you can do all the things.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. But the longer you go and the more you get practiced with some things, the longer it takes to master something else because you've already done all the easy stuff.
Okay. That's a good point. So I found a post on Reddit where somebody was essentially saying that they would like to get rid of their package because they felt like this wasn't the game for them because they could only stream or play for an hour at a time or a day kind of thing. And they were kind of feeling like, given the response, of course it's Reddit, so take that with a grain of salt. But given the response, they felt like if they only had 2 hours to play, they shouldn't be playing at all, kind of feeling. But I think it's more so because of how long that ends up becoming in the later end game things, where it only playing an hour or 2 at most will take a really long time. But I think there's tons of things that you can still do, even having that limited amount of time. So what do you guys think for the people that are very casual like that? How do you think they're going to be able to enjoy this game?
I think I heard Steven mention one time at least that this game was not for the casuals, right? Or it wasn't that casual friendly.
Not for the solo player.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they want to make it accessible for casual players, but it's the solo players that he said are going to have a rough time with it. Because it's going to require some group play, and it's going to require interacting with people on a frequent basis. It's either that or you're going to take a long time to do anything, and you need 17 alts to do all this stuff. One or the other.
Right. So I agree with you. Go ahead. Sorry. I'm just responding to chat.
I just mean when it's already labeled as maybe not as casual friendly as you'd think, then you kind of set the expectations a little bit, and then it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But maybe Ashes is not a game for them, and I guess it's okay if they want to get rid of their.
Yeah, I think it's not going to be like you said. I think it's not going to be necessarily like catered to casuals, but they'll be able to survive if they really like the game. They'll be able to make it through as long as they have a very large casual guild to rely upon, to have somebody else in there at all times to help out and work alongside.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, Ash's Nair. So Ash's Nair actually read the post that I was talking about. And one of the comments I saw were like, and this is actually a good point, because I don't know how it is, Arky. I think you've played a lot of Guild Wars too. I don't know how it is with them, but at least with World of Warcraft, they became very heavy into doing boosting people to max level as quickly as possible. You want to start the game, you want to play with everybody else, here, get a boost. Become max level as of the beginning of the expansion, so that you can play through the highest cap level or whatever. So how do you... First question is, how does Guild Wars 2 deal with that stuff? Are they as open with that, or do they prefer that you kind of play through the storyline? And then the second question is, how do you feel about that stuff in general?
They do. Whenever you buy the expansions, you get a level 80 booster, because max level is 80. You're then provided with some food items, which is like nourishment. You're provided with some armor that has been reworked because the stats were a little bit iffy. But as the community of Guild Wars 2 is actually trying to, whenever people are coming to a Twitch stream and asking, hey, should I use my 80 booster? Please don't. Please at least save it for your second or third character. Please play through the game so you have an understanding about how your class works. Otherwise, you're gonna lose a lot of the game because you then just boosted whatever. So you don't really learn your class from the beginning, and then you're left with I can do the end game, but I don't know how my class works, right? I mean,
yeah. See, I decided to cheat there because over the last holiday they had sales, like they were giving away the base game, and then the other two expansions were like a total of $15 or something. So I ended up picking that up because it was stupid cheap, and so I got a level 80 boost out of it. And then I found out that you can't get a mount at all until you're level 80. So I actually made a second character, boosted it to 80, went and unlocked the mount from another character to use, and then went back to playing the low-level character, just so I could get around faster.
Yeah, that's understandable, at least.
Yeah. I think I could agree to some extent. Playing only 2 hours a week would probably be harder on a game like Ashes. But having maybe a guild that's purely casual like they are would probably make it more fun, where they're just like slowly going through it. But also, unfortunately, Ashes, not really exactly unfortunate, but Ashes is got this thing where it's they're not letting you share your, if you make a purchase for an account, you can't send that to somebody else. You can't give it to like a family member or something. I think there's ways to talk to Intrepid with it by contacting their support, but that is the kind of unfortunate situation with, if I decide I didn't want to play and I wanted to give it to my dad, I couldn't, kind of thing. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that's the whole account selling element in it. When it is like, in the end, it's account selling, so to speak, right? Not with the same intentions as you would with, like, if you buy an account on eBay, for example. But it's still account selling, and if is against the rules, then that's just what it is. But I applaud this person coming forward and at least being realistic about, hey, I'm probably not gonna have time to play this game properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a slippery slope, because if is you still mad that she wasn't invited to the wedding? We got married over COVID, so we just went to the courthouse and did a thing, and we're like, cool, we're official, and we can plan a ceremony later when it's no longer whatever this is going on. But she got mad at us when she found out. But anyway, I think it was also to try to help reduce the amount of like coin selling that happens with World of Warcraft, gold selling and stuff like that. So I get it. But yeah, I don't know. So Mount Sync proposal.
Yeah, I bumped into that and I thought it was an interesting idea with a question mark in my voice if you didn't hear it. So let me toss out the link for folks here as well on that one, because it's an interesting topic. There we go. So they're saying that in general, they're basically saying that there are two professions that can create mounts. There's taming and animal husbandry. Both of them need to stay relevant in the end game. So if mounts don't degrade in any meaningful way, then there's going to be no need for, or not as much need for, those professions down the line, because they're going to eventually end up creating all the different varieties of animals and creating all the capturing all the different varieties of animals, and then there's going to be nothing new and nothing interesting until they put out new expansions, etc. So they are proposing an incentive to release animals back to the wild.
Interesting.
And I'm kind of with Z on that one. Like, no, I need to have them all. That way I can at any point go, yeah, I got that one. Check this out. And have a little mount off every once in a while. Like, hey, check out this one I got. Hey, check out that one.
Oh my gosh. Ashes, Nair, sheesh. Hello, Bartik. Welcome in.
For me, no. Oh my gosh. I mean, I've heard of deconstructing your armor.
Gotta craft them all.
Gotta craft them all.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard of dismantling armor for materials and such, but your mounts? Trusty Silver? Going to butcher Trusty Silver? That's so sad. And hello, Bartik.
Deconstruct your mount like gear. Oh no.
But what do you think about that? Do you think in a game that has taming and animal husbandry, so you can mix and match different animals and themes and different coat colors, etc., together to get new mounts. Do you think that there would actually become a time where they become irrelevant in end game or late game, as they prefer to call it? And there would be a need to remove mounts with some kind of incentive?
Yeah, that's a good question. Given I haven't seen them yet, but what I'm just gonna talk about what I would prefer, and I'm perfectly with the I want them all solution. In Guild Wars 2, it's more like you have a mount and then you have skins for that mount, basically. So you don't really have like a common horse, for example, and then you have a raptor and then you have 8 billion skins for that raptor, and you change those skins fairly regularly. So
Yeah.
and then you want all the skins, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with let me collect them all. Let me keep them all. Let me have my little zoo.
Actually, on the note of skins, because we have the monthly cosmetics, somebody was like, why do you have the monthly cosmetics? What's the point of that? And someone actually had responded saying that Steven is trying to keep all of the in-game capable of like earning stuff kind of secretive so that you experience it when you actually play. And also, some of the stuff that's achievable only in-game is some sort of variant of what is released. So they have these models and they're able to make these different creatures that, one, populate the world, and two, help with I guess coming up with different base models for different things that will probably come into the animal husbandry at some point, because you have this mount that you're trying to breed with that mount, and then you have this new, some interesting form of mashed together mount. But I'm really curious to see how that goes. I'm excited, at least. But
yeah. But I guess really quick, one other thing to toss in with that mount sync thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is one of the solutions they were proposing is to basically you need to feed the animals as well to keep them alive and up and running. So
you need the farmers.
You maintain a zoo of 300 animals, the 300 mounts, then you need to feed them all, which means you better be rich. If not, then your animal kind of expires, runs away, eats its neighbor or whatever.
So it becomes Stardew Valley just with mounts, and then in Unreal 5. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't say I've ever bumped into a game that had that kind of mechanic. So it's interesting to kind of think about. And me, as Z said, as the collector, I always want to say, yeah, no, I need them all. It's a must.
Yeah.
Must have the whole library.
So I had asked earlier what race that Arky would like to play, but the next question comes from Steven, and he says, loving the spectacular updates to our character races and Ashes of Creation. What kind of features do you look for when determining which race you will be playing in Ashes?
Yes, I saw that tweet as well. Again, I think I mentioned it before. It's mainly the animations. They have something that I have fallen in love with recently, and that comes in other games as well, is idle animations. That is a weird thing, I know, to fall in love with, but having idle animations where you can see, the character does something or interact with the environment they're in based on maybe time of day or season is something I could see myself fall really much in love into if they have that in Ashes as well. So that is something I look for when I create my characters, but based on that I have tried them all beforehand.
Yeah, that's fair. They need them or I like playing whatever fits the class I want to play. Yeah, so they definitely have elves already. The only reason why they didn't show off the elves already, Gummy, I don't know if you've seen their past stuff, is elves were already shown off much earlier, as well as the humans were. So, yeah. By the way, welcome in QWR Savan. I was for sure a Denier main, but then the Veg was shaking my belief. I love it.
I like it.
Yeah, you
I
also,
think-
of course, you have the role play kind of aspect, right?
Yeah.
Does the character, sorry, does the race fit the role or the class I want to play? That's a good thing. That's that's actually an aspect you kind of forget sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Hold on, let me send you a link to our favorite Ashes of Creation wiki, which, hold on, I believe the bot is still up. If it's not, I'm about to go bring it up. Yep. There's the wiki that we endorse. And if you look up their, let's see, elf. Under races, they have the elf, and they actually put the new races image there. But we have the Pyrian elves, which have two factions of Empyrean and Pyre for the sub-races. So, very much looking forward to that.
I have been nothing but pure excitement about the Vec since we've seen them. Honestly, even before them, I've really liked them. Like, are extra awesome now. And somebody actually made some nifty art that we can show you here in a minute.
Ooh, I love nifty art. I love it when the people in the community make art things, because then it's so nice to look at it. No one will expect the Renkai Inquisition. The Vec have a lot of bat-like features. Yeah, I agree. Is there more than one wiki now? I don't think there's... I mean, I think there's always been more than one wiki. There's just the one, and the reason why we back it more so is because they go through and they cite all of their sources. I don't know if the other people that were trying to make their wikis have continued to keep up on it, but a lot of people have information that they like to put on like the web pages, but nobody was as attentive to documentation and citation as Lex has been, in our opinion. Some people want a furry animal class that would be called a Tolnar. We don't know what Tolnar looks like yet. That's just kind of the joke that we have going around. I'd like it if each race had a fully fleshed out language, like give my character names in their native tongue. Oh, that's really cool. Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky. Very D&D-esque. I like it.
Yeah, like some games have a randomizer that give you names that they've come up with and structured, and sometimes the games will have like fragmented names that get jumbled together in the randomizer, and you just come up with very, very unique options.
Yeah. Also, Veil Mistwarden, I definitely agree. It's very close to what the troll looks like in World of Warcraft. Oh, look at that. I was just filling space until the art piece got up there, so I'll stop talking now.
Yeah, go ahead and toss this up there.
It's very pretty.
That was from Matamia.
Nice.
Matamia. That looks like two separate words. Matamia is how I think it's supposed to be pronounced, but I could just be imagining things.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, there was a bunch of really good art.
Oh yeah, definitely. Can you show concept art from ArtStation? If we had somebody who had concept art, or somebody who had a link for the Ashes of Creation stuff, we would definitely be happy to show that, because we focus on the community here. So if anybody knows anybody who does art concept stuff for Ashes, please let us know. We love showing that.
Yeah, let us know, by all means.
Also, Chibi is kind of an art person, not snob. I'll just say it, an art slut. I just love art so much. I will go to a convention and Vertec literally has to stop me from buying all the art.
All of it.
All of it.
Pretty much right. Pretty accurate.
Okay. Okay, some of the stuff on there is from Intrepid. Gotcha. If we had the link to that, I do have a link, however, to the new backgrounds that they just released. I will grab that and share that over with you guys. Here you go. Those have been really pretty. What classes are you most intrigued to see? I would say the secondary classes. I'm intrigued to see what the secondary classes are, but we only had, 3 or 4 during Alpha 1? What about you, Arky?
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to see how chaotic the class system is going to be. From what I've read, there's going to be like 64 versions of yourself you can sort of create, right?
So you have 8 base
yeah.
classes, and then you take one of those and then multiply that by 8, and that's how many different versions of one class you have.
Yeah. So that's
It's
going
so
to be
crazy.
interesting.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that people like ArenaNet and Guild Wars 2 can't really base 9.
Mm-hmm.
So each class has the core, and now there's going to be on the 28th. There's going to be 3 different elite specs. That's 4 different times 9, right? So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to balance out.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
I'm a necromancer main, right? I'm going to see how well this can incorporate into my current playstyle, or if I'm going to swap over to something more melee.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm a caster. I like. It's going to sound wrong. I like playing with dead things. So. More or less conditions, as in dots per, what's it called, like dots per second, right? Ticks per second.
Yeah.
Things that count down, right? That draw health, maybe make the battle longer, but I will win because I was cleverer, kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm used to being a caster too. So my big game was actually World of Warcraft, because I grew up playing that with my dad. That's how we spent time together. And I played Holy Priest a lot. And Dis Priest was a little too complicated for me, and I forgot what the other one was. But the classic Holy Priest, where you're standing far away and you're just healing people through spells. That's what I was used to. And now Intrepid has you go up and you smash things to heal other people. And so that's going to be a whole play style change for me. I usually don't like being up in front of people, but maybe it might solve some of my problems with PvP, because as a caster and being far away, you're a little bit more squishy too, because if they can get to you, you usually get taken down pretty quickly. As a healer, it's a race against my mana less than it is against my HP, because as soon as my mana goes out, my HP is out. But I'm super interested in seeing how this playstyle goes for me, because this is huge different playstyle for me. So who knows? I may not like playing healer anymore, and I might want to play something else that kind of goes back to that ranged playstyle.
Yeah, I'm almost the opposite. Like the 2 of the healers that kind of spoke to me most in World of Warcraft were the monk, when you could do what was called fist weaving, which is basically getting up in their face and punching them and stuff to gain energy so you could kick out heals. And when you would do certain types of damage, it would kick out certain types of heals. And then the Disc Priest, which was you do a whole bunch of damage and it transfers it to people you have buffed. So you buff certain people and then you just go all out with damage. So that's, I find it interesting that we're exactly opposite ends on that. Like I experienced that before, and that's kind of what I'm really excited to get into. When I do try healers, I want to try and see how far I can tilt towards those play styles.
Yeah.
But I know for me, I want to try all the different tank classes and all of the bard classes and all of the combinations in between. But yeah, Necrokeys kind of has it on point. Technically, there are 64 classes if you go by what they say and what they title everything in game, because there are 8 archetypes. Then you can have your primary archetype and then your secondary archetype, which modifies it into a separate class. But they really, in general, act like 8 archetypes with 8 varieties that are heavily flavored with another archetype, rather than creating a whole new, brand new class. But then again, when you think of the difference between like a fighter and like a rogue, those are basically 2 heavily different flavors of a melee fighter type. One uses bigger blades.
Yeah.
And one hides because it's a coward. I mean, a ninja. But like that's basically the same kind of thing. Like, what's the difference between, you know, a mage and a cleric? They both cast spells from long distance, or a priest rather. And like, wow, one casts spells from a long distance, but they do more healing, and the other one does more damage.
One likes blue fire, the other one likes red fire.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And like a warlock and a mage, like one has a pet. Okay, so we have a mage buy a dog. He's now a warlock. Merry Christmas. But yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see how they actually fully implement that though, because like I kind of like the idea, mixing them up like
Thank
that.
you, Okies. I just got your Discord message. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. I wanted to let them know.
Yeah, you get 8 different buffs. Yeah, I want to do all the tanks.
That's actually Vertec and I, when we planned out on I don't know when they're introducing the secondary archetypes. Whenever they do that, we are planning on trying, I believe I was going to try all of the different clerics and he was going to try all the different tanks, just to see which one we liked. What about you, Arky? Which primary and then flavors of that primary would you like to try?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think I'm a necromancer main. Maybe the summoner is probably something that talks to me the most.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure yet. It all depends on how the different playstyles is gonna speak to me, so to say.
That's fair. Welcome in. I'm
The summoner really was the first one, first like flavor that really said, "Oh, this sounds familiar."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm really curious about the tank mage and the bard tank. Those are 2 of the ones I think are going to be really, really interesting to play and see how they do the play styles of those.
Right, yeah. I'm here for Arky. He's amazing. I agree. I support that.
Oh, speaking of being here for Arky, by the way, just to toss this out for everybody. So, the way I found Sir Arky here was in the CC exchange, where a lot of new content creators and a lot of veteran content creators and all those in between involved in the Ashes community kind of jump in there and help each other out and, you know, ask questions, ask for feedback, that type of thing. And one of the questions he had is actually a very good question for somebody just approaching, especially this game and this community, is, hey, how should new content be created for this game when it's not out yet? It's difficult because there's only so much information out there, right? And putting out something unique is very difficult, but recycling somebody else's stuff and just talking about it, you're not really creating content. And I thought it was a really, really insightful and really good question. So I would like to pose that question to you folks out there, because there were a couple point of views that were kind of tossed out. What do you folks as viewers like to see? Do you like to see all the different points of view from different content creators on the same topics? And then kind of follow the one that you like the personality of more? Or do you like to see all the different personalities and get a good rounded view? Or do you follow the people with the most unique stuff? Which would be like your more favored direction?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to toss that out before you said something there. Didn't mean to interrupt necessarily, but I wanted to put some time out there for people to maybe have a response on that before I know we got to start wrapping up here shortly.
Mm-hmm. And it's very late for Arky. I was just gonna say, I feel
2
like
a.m.
you should probably put that up somewhere, Arky, as a question on maybe your Twitter or something, and let people be able to come and comment on that. Maybe pin it. Because I feel like that's a great question, and I would love for people to have more time to respond to that. By the way, I just put out his links. There's his Twitch, his Twitter, and his YouTube, so please go give Arky a follow. That's why we do these. Not for ourselves, but for our guests. We want our guests to get exposure, let you guys meet them, see different types of content creators, somebody who you might be interested in checking out, and Arky is pretty chill, so we've been enjoying having him on here with us.
That's what people keep saying. Very chill, even though he plays PvP with salty people. So yeah.
Maybe you should have rebrand to the chill PvPer.
I used to have a character called PM Arky, like a PMA kind of wordplay.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
I think I deleted that at some point.
Okay. Hey, Era123, I am going to be starting from 2 different gates because I'm going to have 2 different characters right off the bat. One from me and one from my guild. If they don't agree on me taking the specific character and gate that I want to. If they need me to start somewhere specifically to support like guild group running and all that, then I'll have 2 characters. But the one that I'm doing for me is going to be a Vec tank, and he's going to be starting out of wherever the Vec default is because I want to know as much about that lore and culture as I possibly can.
Right. Gummy, to answer your question, all of the servers are going to be like parallel universes. It depends on where you go first, what people on your server decide to populate in the world first, and what events within that world happen and what things that they find. So yeah, you could probably have very different gear than another person. And that person could probably have found it in a different area, and somebody could have a northeast area that's built that has specific node types that another area or another server may have the same area but a whole other set of node types. So it kind of depends on what nodes end up getting populated and where you populate and how far into that population, how far the node levels up is what becomes available to you. I believe they are planning on having different unlockable events, like when a node level reaches a certain number, perhaps a dragon emerges from the nearby volcano and attacks your city or something. So yeah, very excited to see how that all comes into play. History book for each server. Yeah, I agree. Ashes and Air, showing the big events and how nodes developed over time. Yeah,
is that cool. Not still a thing, Necrokis? I thought that was a thing.
Gates?
Yeah, being based on race.
No, I don't think it. I think they were always saying everybody could choose any gate that they want to.
Oh yeah, you're totally allowed to choose which one you want to go with, but there's going to be a default one. Last I checked anyway, there was a default one, and then you could override that with your choice if you wanted to.
Oh, interesting. I did not hear that part myself. But
I have to look that up in that wiki link you posted earlier.
Yeah. Arky, is there anything that you want to talk about before we wrap up, since it's really late there for you? Anything that stands out to you?
No, I think I have wrote a little bit down here in a little document, but we went about, like, I talked a little about how I love PvP, and I hope there's going to be a lot more in it in Ashes, and we went around the new characters as well. The new I call the new races, the new screenshots of them. So that's pretty cool.
Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky says, I would appreciate a breakdown of pros and cons of Guild Wars 2 combat systems, since AOC is apparently mirroring them. What should they change? Guild Wars 2 isn't super popular, so people would appreciate it. So I guess there you go. He's requesting a piece of content from you already.
There you go.
Breakdown of pros and cons of Guild Wars 2 combat system. Okay. I'll put that in my content ideas note here, I guess.
Make sure to follow him on
Okay.
his Twitter and his YouTube and his Twitch, because you never know if that pops up somewhere.
All right, so here you go. I'm gonna drop a source. This is my source. Yeah, then this under the starting areas, it does say that starting areas are located in the ruined cities of the 4 ancient races of Vera.
No Vicmeister.
Starting each race has its own starting area, but players may choose their starting gateway regardless of their choice of race. So each race is going to have its own separate representation at the starting areas, but you can choose your own gate to go to any of them you wish. But I'll be in the Vec area because I want to know all about the Vec. And if Guild needs me somewhere else, I'll just have to get them a secondary character.
Right?
That'd be my bard tank.
There you go. Then you can try out the different class options. Oh, no problem, Vicmeister. We are all patiently waiting and excitedly waiting for announcement on A2.
Yeah,
So-
I'm slightly impatiently waiting, if I'm being honest.
I am more so patiently waiting, but I'm impatiently waiting on my tax return to see if I can do any upgrades to my computer.
Right.
But
Let's-
alrighty. Last thoughts, shall we? Or did you have something else that you want to talk about before we do that?
I was just going to, now I'm done, I mean, personally anyway, now that I'm done looking for that entry, I was just going to start showing up some of the art stuff while we're talking about other stuff. But yeah, it is just about closing time. And Mr. Arky, if you would like to share any pages, any special social medias or projects that you're going to be working on, or ask people to stop by somewhere, please do so. We'll start wrapping up here shortly right after that.
Well, you guys already posted my Twitch. I stream 3 times a week, mainly displaying again the different types of competitive gameplay in Guild Wars 2 at the moment, which is called World v World, which is like server versus server versus server. It's a little bit, it's fancy, it's fun. It's basically 50 versus 50 versus 50 potentially. So
Whoa.
it's a lot like what I hope Ashes will become, right? And then there is the structured PvP kind of game modes, which is 5v5. Sometimes when the seasons are on break, there's like a 2v2 or 3v3 season, mini season in between. Just playing ranked whenever possible. So there's going to be a lot of why did we lose kind of streams. I have set a goal in 2022 where I want to post more content. So I will be starting to post more content on YouTube at some point. I have a whole series of how to be a noob in PvP and not suck kind of thing. Planned for Guild Wars 2 PvP. Hopefully it's gonna come at some point. I just need to land the different classes. I think I've tried to lure out the secrets of the class experts, so to say. Like, hey, can you spill your secrets? Maybe not all of them, but please a little bit.
Yeah, real quick, just to interject, your thing about why did we die or whatnot. I just wanted to say it really reminded me of some friends that I had that used to play League of Legends and stream that. And they actually had a weekly segment where for the entire time it was titled Why Noobs Don't Random. And they were completely fresh and new to 99 out of 100 of those classes. And they would just literally say, random, any class, let's do it. And it would fail every single time. Every time. But yeah, sorry, it just brought that to mind. Did I mean to interrupt? Go ahead.
Yeah, that's probably it. I have that planned for 2022. I want to post more stuff on YouTube, as I said. Basically going to be like a do or die kind of thing. If making at least some stuff on YouTube doesn't work, then at least I tried. So yeah, be more active on social media and stuff. So that's my plan for it.
Yeah. That
All
sounds
right.
Sorry, pardon me.
All right, and then the last two things I wanted to share out to people are going to be, well, three actually, are not easily shown. One was a post. It was by Soul Reaver. It's called Memoirs of Sanctus. It's a story, little story on the forums. Kind of neat. They said they went through the wiki and dug up a lot of lore to help support the story and kind of craft what they were writing. So it's a good read. And as a couple folks who used to write a lot of stories on there, like Grant Thor, it's always nice when people stop by and read their stuff and at least click the like or leave a comment saying, hey, this is cool stuff. So please show them some support. They're doing really awesome stuff.
And then we have Matto Kamas with the music for Ashes.
Made another song, so scroll down to literally the last post for some links over to the new stuff that has been created. Always does great things. I always like everything I hear him make. So one of these days, we're going to catch him with some time and we're going to con him into making more music for us. And I say more music so that we have more songs, not that he's made any for us yet, unfortunately. I would love for him to make us some stuff. And then the last one is a Katsu Enya's small art corner over on the forums. It's a big old list of a bunch of different little pieces of artwork that they did. And some is really cool, like there's a radioactive / neon nightclub looking pangolin. And there's a kitty
really
Fuko.
check out the forums more.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's people active doing a lot of stuff and putting up a lot of art stuff on there. And especially in the past week, I mean, we usually don't have a whole lot of stuff on the art and be it visual or audio, but this week there were like 7 or 8 posts that were great.
Yep. Shall we raid Sim? He's doing Ashes of Creation content, so I figured we'd raid within the category.
Oh, hey, absolutely.
Alrighty.
It is Ashes HQ inbound.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the raid started.
All right, while she's doing that, thank you everybody for stopping by, spending your time with us. It's very much appreciated. As we're trying to introduce you to new people and
like
reintroduce you to old people. Yep, like Archie. So please feel free, stop by his some of the social links and toss him some feedback once in a while. And, you know, the questions I was asking, what would you guys like to see?
And
what do you like to see in a new content creator?
Sorry. And for those of you that are subscribed, we have the new cheer emote. So if you would please use that when we go raid with the mug of cheer. I'm working on getting a static version of that for the followers. And we have a few other things that we're still working on in terms of getting new emotes. The lady we have a lot of emotes, so she needed a breath real quick before working on such a big order. So
yeah, we had to do one to get a sample, and we got the sample, and we like it.
Alrighty. Yeah, just like that. Thank you, Vertex.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for choosing
again,
us.
everybody.
Thank you, Archie, for giving us your late evening. And we can't wait to see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.